But yeah, I definitely like being in there, being active. I train all year round. Like I don't really take big breaks unless I like hurt something. So in most of my fights, I come out injury free. If I do have injuries from like a fight camp, not from the actual fight.
That's really fortunate.
Yeah, no, I'm lucky. So I want, not gonna win. I want to, I want to take advantage of my health because I know it's not gonna last forever.
How old are you now? You know what
oh God, 20
26?
Yeah, that's the magic number. No, I'm 34 this year. Yeah.
Well, you look great.
Thank you.
When did you start training?
I did my first Muay Thai class when I turned 24.
Wow.
Yeah, so I called
Maybe
it my.
That's a thing, right? Like you don't have the wear and tear of like a lot of people start when they're 10, and by the time they get to GT, they already got
they're all jacked
MCL
up.
Fucked up, and back's a mess, and
it
necks
probably
hurt.
stunts your growth too a little bit. I don't know. I feel like something happens.
If you cut weight, it certainly does.
Yeah. So I didn't really do any sports after I guess middle school, and from middle school through high school to college, and then after college, I didn't do shit.
You didn't do anything?
Nah, I was skinny fat, so I didn't have to.
But you didn't work out or nothing?
Nah, I didn't work out.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's weird. If you see a picture of me from like right after college, I look like this little skinny like stick figure, like just soft girl. It's really weird. So like when people see me now, they're like, "Holy shit!" Like
people from back then.
Yeah.
Well, they must be freaking out now. Like she's a what?
Yeah,
she's in the fucking what? She's a UFC contender.
I know.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, it's
Angela?
really funny. Yeah, exactly. Like nobody, and I was so different. Well, not different, but I was like super quiet, like all my life, like in high school, especially college. Like I was always just like really shy and really like soft spoken.
That's surprising because you're very funny on Twitter.
Oh, thank you.
On Twitter, you're hilarious.
Well, I was always funny.
You're always funny, just quiet.
Nobody knew it. Yeah, I kept it to myself. I cracked myself up all day. But yeah, like I'm just super shy. Like always awkward around like new people and new settings. And like I had my tight knit group of friends, but like I was never like the popular kid by any means. So
what brought you into Muay Thai class?
A workout.
You just needed something to do.
I was just fat. Yeah, I had just gotten married, and I also had an office job. I was working at an animation studio, and before that, I had been bartending. So I was like moving around and doing stuff, and I never really felt like inactive. But once I quit the bar job and was just doing that full time, I just felt like fat and lazy and greasy and, everything that happens from like sitting down all day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you do all sorts of shit outside of this just to like, stay happy.
Yeah,
so,
right?
Yeah, it was really cool discovering it. Like I was just asking around because I always wanted to learn how to fight. But like boxing intimidated me. I'm like, they're not going to want to deal with me, like they deal with me if I came in when I was like 10, but not now. Some old ass fucking girl wanting to learn how to box. But then people are telling me like, oh, Muay Thai is like really cool, and I was afraid of getting bulky, and they're like, oh no, if you do Muay Thai, like you'll still look really natural. You won't look like you're on steroids. And I was like, oh, okay.
Every girl's afraid of that. You're afraid of big shoulders and big arms.
I mean, now I don't care. I'm like, bring it on, But back then I was like really worried about looking like a ninja turtle.
That's so funny because it's so hard for a girl to look like that without steroids. But you see some girls who go hard, like the CrossFit
like
girls.
Half my opponents, they're just all trapped up.
There's a few. There's a few that you definitely know something happened in the past.
Something happened. They grew up on a farm.
That's
the
a lot of throwing
line.
hay around. So you're 24 years old. You walk into a Muay Thai class. When do you get addicted to it?
First class, man.
Really?
First class. My coach, my first coach, Brandon Levi, does Evolution Muay Thai in New York.
So that's where you were in New York at the time?
Yeah, in New York. Yeah, that's where I went to school and everything. And first class, I threw like an elbow and a knee on the Thai pads. And I was like, oh, because it feels so hard. And like, I never knew that I could generate that much power with my like little body. Because I was probably like 100 115 pounds, like wet, soaking wet, you know, at the time. So I was just like, oh my God, like I feel so powerful. And like ever since then, I was just going every day. I was going with my husband. Like we were like getting in shape, learning how to kick and stuff. And it was just like a lot of stuff I never thought I'd be able to do. I was doing it. Like even just throwing a head kick. Like I didn't like try out for cheerleading because I was inflexible. You know, I was like, I'm never going to be able to do this. I can't do a high kick. I can't do a split or anything like that. So being able to get my leg up high enough to kick someone in the head, like it was like a huge milestone for me athletically. I
love a story like that where you didn't do shit from like middle school, high school. You didn't do shit till you're 24. And then all of a sudden you get addicted to it.
Yeah. It was
crazy.
Always in me, man.
And then 10 years later, you're a top contender in the UFC.
Yeah.
That's bananas.
It's weird, but like it makes sense to me because like anytime I tried to do a sport when I was a kid, I would just lose interest. And I think it was because they were all team sports. Like I was on a basketball team, softball, baseball, whatever. I ran track for like a few months and all of that stuff. I was just like, this is stupid. Like, what's the point? You know, or that, or I don't know. I didn't like working with people. But the one thing I was good at was stealing the ball in basketball. So like, I never made any shots. Like, I was really bad at like dribbling and everything. But if someone got the ball and they were next to me, I'd run over and I'd grab it and just like wriggle until they're just like, like they would just get mad at me and let go of the ball. So I'd steal it and then pass it to the girl that could shoot. So yeah, that was the one thing I was good at.
That's conflict.
Yeah.
Maybe that was like a sign of things to come. You're good at conflict.
Exactly. I like that. And especially because I was so shy outside of that, then it was just kind of like my outlet.
So how long was it between your first class and your first fight?
It was about 9 months.
Wow.
Yeah. So
right away, you're like balls deep into this thing.
Yeah.
For lack of better expression.
What else? I'm like, what else deep could I?
Yeah. What can a girl do?
I was balls
Ovaries deep.
Yeah. I was really into it, and I hadn't considered fighting yet, but my coach was like, I think it was around the time. Have you ever heard of the WKAs? Mm-hmm. So it was around the time of that, and he was taking a couple people down, and he was like, hey, you want to do WKAs? You want to have a fight? And I was like, oh, are you sure? Like, you sure I'm ready? And it was kind of halfway because, well, I don't know if this is why he asked, but once I said yes, there was a girl that used to train with us who was also doing it in my weight class, and he was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. So yeah, I thought it was cool that he had that confidence in me because all the other girls who were in the tournament had been training a lot longer than me, for years even. So yeah, I was just like, okay, let's do it. Let's see what happens. Like, I was scared, but I also wasn't like putting all my eggs in that basket. Like, I didn't think anything was going to come from doing Muay Thai. It was just fun at the time.
Right.
So I went and I beat 2 girls, won the regional championship or whatever.
Wow.
And from then on, I was just fighting. They had this show in New York called Friday Night Fights. And I got a few shows on that, or a few fights on that. I went 14-0 as an amateur Muay Thai fighter. Then before I went pro, I was trying to get an MMA fight just so I had like 1 or 2 amateur MMA fights under my belt. So if I do decide to do it, I'd have that experience, but no one would fight me. So I ended up going pro anyway, had 2 pro Muay Thai fights, and then I had my first pro MMA fight 2 days before the tough tryouts.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so recent. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What year were you on Tough? Was that 6 years
20, ago? So I think it was 2014, yeah.
Wow.
That's when the tryouts were, and I think it aired. Yeah, I think our finale was like that December.
Well, that makes sense now as to why you've gotten so much better over the last few fights. You're still fucking learning.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. I shouldn't have been in there.
When did you start training? What year did you start?
I started, I've been doing it for about, not even 10 years, 9 years. So I actually started MMA training as just a keep fit while I was playing rugby league. So I was, that was when I was 214 pounds. So that's something that obviously when I'm fighting and you say 240 and it'll slowly getting up.
It's your language. You guys have that Australian language. You say things different. 214 sounds like 240.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it's out. 214. Well, that makes more sense, but still it's a ridiculous amount of weight.
100%. I'm 5'6" on a good day, you know what I mean? Give me a good stretch out, do some yoga sessions, I might make 5'6", but you know what I mean? It's just, I was a lot bigger and I wanted to stay fit in between, in between like sort of the pre-season. So that's why I went and started and just loved it ever since. So that was about, 9 years ago.
So, and how old are you now?
31.
Look at you there. Look at you fucking gorilla.
Oh, yeah, there you go, see?
Look at the size of you. Jesus Christ. You're 31.
Look at that head.
So you were, early 20s. And no martial arts training at all before that?
I wrestled. So I wrestled before I even done rugby league. I wrestled for about probably a year. I can't even remember. It was, honestly, I'd done it for about a year. And, I'd done pretty good. It was something that I was actually pretty good at. But, I wanted to play football with my mates and I got over wearing the tights, wrestling and stuff like that. So, it was just something that, I ended up just playing football with my mates. So I sort of gave it up and I was actually pretty good at it. So I won the nationals, obviously wrestling's not as big in Australia as it is over here, but, I still won the Australian Championship twice and stuff like that. But then I just gave it up and started playing football. Yeah.
So that's crazy. So you won the Australian Nationals twice?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was they'd have them every year.
And you'd only been training for a year? You'd only done it for a year?
Yeah, honestly. I remember we used to have a games night, we call it. It was at a PCY, Police Boys Club. It's just a local club. Usually they'll have games nights and they had wrestling there. And I just went there one time and the trainer was just like, oh, you should come and do training because I was doing all right. So I just started doing it and then I was actually pretty good. Again, I was always, I literally, come out the mother's womb like this, you know what I mean? So I've been this big since, I've been this big or this height and look this old since I was 12. So I was always versing guys twice the size of me and you know what I mean? So I was older, much older as well. And I used to do well. So that's why a lot of people, thought I was mad, when I gave that up because I was doing so good. And then the same was at rugby league. When I played rugby league, even people thought I was mad giving that up as well because that was something I was pretty good at as well.
So what made you decide to make a switch to MMA professionally?
Just my last year of football, rugby league. We won the comp. I got player of the match. I scored a 40-metre try. So you can imagine that guy running 40 metres. So it was just a good year to finish on. You know what I mean? I had a couple of fights as well that year. So I was training at MMA and having a couple of fights while I was playing rugby league.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that was
during the season?
Yeah.
During the season you were having fights?
Yes.
So you'd have a game and then you'd have a fight?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So it was pretty full on and still working, still concreting.
Really?
So
Jesus Christ.
It was pretty full on. So a lot happening, and I guess that's probably where I get some of my fitness today as well, you know what I mean? I've just always been a bit of a gamer and, that's just something I've always done, but maybe from back in them days as well.
Well, I would imagine that just the sheer tenacity and cardio that you would get from rugby. Rugby is a tough fucking sport. Yeah. I mean, that's what I think Americans should play. I really do. I look at American football, I'm like, take off the fucking helmets. What's up with the shoulder pads? And honestly, I think it's safer. I think rugby's safer. I don't think it's safe. It's obviously a very rough combat sport in a lot of. I mean, it's kind of like a team combat sport almost. But you were at least not under the illusion that you're protected like American football players have been for so long with the helmets and the pads, and that's what's causing a lot of the brain trauma.
Yeah, with them hard helmets and all that. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Slamming into each other,
Yeah, it's I guess I can see what you're saying there as well. But then. Again, then you're looking at someone running at no helmet as well. But I get what you're saying. I actually think, I think you're right. I think you hit the nail on the head with that.
Well, I think they've considered this, but people are so accustomed to football helmets, football pads.
Yep.
So the idea is to just make better helmets and better pads. But according to the guys who really study traumatic brain injury, that's not really going to help because it's the impact, the head, the brain swashing around inside your skull. That is just so the amount of mass that you have, these guys colliding into each other,
Yeah.
it's almost unavoidable.
Yeah, it's like what they actually when you're talking boxing and that as well. And a lot of people, you know, obviously we've got the smaller gloves,
Right.
but then the boxers they have more padding, but it's just so many more strikes to the head,
Yes.
day in day out, and they reckon that's actually can be actually worse for you.
Yeah, I imagine it is. And then also there's nothing else. You're not even allowed to clinch. I mean, if you
Yep.
clinch, they separate you. You know, whereas in MMA, if you get rocked, you could at least protect yourself. You
Yeah.
know? And if it goes to the ground, you can hang on. You could try to submit someone. You could try to wrestle with them. There's not a lot of options in boxing, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
So you did well in rugby, and you had a couple of fights while you were playing rugby. What was it? Was it just a one-on-one aspect of it? Like, what made you decide to focus entirely on that?
Man, I've always loved martial arts. Yeah, always loved it, and I love the fact that you're in there by yourself. You know, I've always been a hard worker. Yeah, so you could play the best game of your life in say rugby league and still lose.
Right.
Yeah, you could do everything right. You know, make thousands of meters, whatever it is.
Someone else fucks up.
Well, yeah, again, I don't want to put it out.
Put it out.
Yeah, well, exactly right. That's sort of even it could be vice versa. I could play a bad game, we could win, but I love the fact that I'm such a hard worker, and I'm always putting the hours in the gym. I'm so dedicated to this sport that so if I lose in that cage, that's on me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I love that. I love the fact that if I am half-assing it, in the gym, you're going to see that come fight time, and I've got no one else to blame but myself. So, I've always loved that. And again, I've just always loved martial arts, even boxing, UFC, even, before I even started, training MMA, I would listen to music, and I would, just picture myself winning the world title and the UFC
Really?
title. Yeah, I've
Even
always
before
loved
you were
it.
training?
I wasn't even training, it was just something that
Wow.
I've always loved. I actually started watching it back when I think because we had a box, you get the chips and you can watch whatever channel you want, and the pay-per-view was, I probably shouldn't say that, but anyway, so the pay-per-view was on, and I remember watching Tito Ortiz and Ken Shamrock. That was the first time, their first fight, so that was the first time I ever started watching UFC, and that's when I just absolutely started loving it. So I've always watched it and loved it, and picture myself being in there and all that, and I wasn't even training at the time.
Well, Australians are tough as fuck. It's like, it's a tough fucking place. There's something, they're men. You know what I mean? There's a lot of, I'm sure there's some pussies over there too, but they're men. You know what I mean? Like, that's like one of the ways that people look at Australia. It's it makes sense that great combat sport athletes would come out of Australia.
Yeah, exactly right.
It's a prison colony.
Well, now, yeah.
That's really what you guys started off as.
Exactly right, yeah.
Especially,
as you're saying, obviously me being looking like this since since a young age, obviously you're gonna, I'm not the type to brag that, I get into fights and all that sort of stuff. But when I was younger, that would happen, and so I've always been known to fight and been able to fight type of thing. I've always had to sort of defend myself. Never been the one to start it, but there was times where I had to finish it. But so it's just always something that I guess I've had in me.
So, Australia, you guys have John Wayne Parr, Jeff Fenech. You guys have had some great combat sports athletes come out of.
Well, it's UFC so big in Australia. So we've always had, as you're saying, very talented guys. We've got a lot of very good athletes over there. But they were always in your rugby leagues and AFL or whatever it is. Now UFC's and MMA is getting so big that we're getting these athletes starting to train MMA, and you're only going to see it grow even more, and we're going to get a lot more champions from our region, I believe.
That's the best part right now. Is now I could just talk as much as possible, and they can't say nothing.
They can't say nothing. There were so many doubters, so many naysayers, so many people didn't want you to get that title shot. It was so unfair, dude. It was really wild. It was wild to see. It really was. It really was. Because I'm like, are you guys not watching his fights? Like, what the fuck are you guys seeing? I do not understand when people don't appreciate excellence. I really don't get it. I never, like the Sean Brady fight, you see that fight, you don't think this dude is a fucking problem for everybody? You see the Wonder Boy fight, see all your fights.
And all of them, they've been different, right? Like with the Sean Brady, all I did was stand up. I didn't shoot one takedown on him. Gilbert Burns, I didn't shoot one takedown. Wonder Boy, I took him down. Obviously, I'm not going to strike with a kickboxer, so I've showed you guys all forms of martial arts.
Yeah.
And people still hate it. They're still hating.
So crazy.
Even with the Leon fight. So even for this fight, I was like,
after
bro.
the Leon fight, I think they have to shut the fuck up. I think everybody has to shut the fuck up and just recognize what you did, because you put so much pressure on him standing up. You were in his face from the very first second of the very first round. You just advanced. And you could tell he wanted that space. And you could tell it was a different experience than what he thought he was going to get from you.
Yeah, I mean, when we saw him against Kobe and him against Usman, the third fight, we saw that he's an expert at distance.
Yeah,
he manages the distance. He puts it at his own pace. So we were like, bro, we got to make this the dirtiest fight, the hardest fight for him. So we got to step right away. So even when the ref was like looking to me, telling me to back up, when he looked at Leon and said, "You ready? You ready?" I'm walking forward right away. So I'm right in his face before he even like looks up. So I was like, I got to get him on his back foot right away, make him uncomfortable. And I knew he's not good uncomfortable. None of these, no striker's really good moving backwards.
Right.
But I knew Leon specifically, I don't want to be in his kick range. I don't want him at his slow pace like he did against Kobe and these guys where he kicks, moves. I'm like, I'm going to be in his face nonstop, punching him in his mouth and taking him down whenever I see an opening.
The Kobe fight I thought was going to be different. I think Kobe broke his foot real early in that fight.
I mean, I think Kobe sucks, but for me, I think that Kobe he's just not a good striker. Even with the fights that we see that he was really good at, it was just because he put a good pace on all these guys.
Right.
And he dictated the pace with, RDA and Robbie Lawler, all these guys, but none of those guys really had that type of cardio. When we saw him against Usman showed you, all right, he could keep up that pace with Kobe, and then Kobe can't take him down, so it ended up being like a kickboxing match. Mm-hmm. For Leon, he knew if he dictated the pace with Kobe wasn't going to be able to do anything to him. And I don't think the time off, I think, hurt Kobe's distance management because his shot takedowns were terrible in that fight. Like, he wasn't managing it. He was just shooting in.
If he's telling the truth, though, I think the foot had a big factor. Because I think he broke his foot. I think Leon checked the kick real early on, or he kicked low and hit the shin and broke his foot. Hit the knee, something. I don't remember exactly what happened. But apparently in the first round, he broke his foot. And that, if you can't move against Leon, you're in real trouble.
Yeah, I mean, especially because Leon's so good at his lateral movement.
Yeah,
and then his kicks hurt so hard.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, I can't be in kicking range at all. I think I felt like one body kick early, and I was like, all right, let me step forward on it. So even with my mindset the whole camp, I probably took 2,000 to 3,000 body kicks. Jeez. And then move forward on each of them. And if I backed up at all, my coach is yelling at me, look what you did here. You did this wrong. Move forward. We can't take one step back. So I was writing it down. I was putting it in my head, do not take a step back. Do not take a step back. And then it just came out in the fight.
It came out perfect. It was a master plan. It really was. Watching you execute it, I was just so shocked, first of all, his inability to deal with you on the feet. Because even if it was just a kickboxing match, there was so much pressure and so much volume of strikes. You were constantly on him. Your boxing was so on point, man. It would look better than it's ever looked.
Yeah, I think people just underestimate me when they look at me because they say, oh, he doesn't have a bunch of knockouts. But when you look at my fights and you see the way I pieced up a lot of these, big names like Gilbert and Sean Brady, I beat them both on the feet. And for the Leon fight, my gym is small, but I work with, I think, who's the best striker in the UFC right now. He's a 55er, Ignacio Balmundez. Like, this kid is a monster. He probably has, like...
Monster.
You saw, his spinning heel kick knockout. I'm
Dangerous,
like, I'm sparring with this dude every single day. So I'm like, nothing that Leon was going to throw at me was going to surprise me. Nothing was going to make me uncomfortable. And for me, if you're beating me up, I want to keep going to you. So for Nacho, I'm like, bro, throw the kitchen sink at me. I want you to throw everything you have in your tool bag at me. So if whatever Leon throws, I'm just going to be comfortable in that fire.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just nonstop sparring. Even if it's not hard sparring, light sparring, just enough to see everything and have my reaction time. And I think that helps a lot with the way I've been fighting lately.
How much time did you have to prepare for Leon?
I had about 8 weeks.
Did you kind of have an inkling that it was going to happen before that? Like, had you been preparing mentally before that, thinking that
was the hardest part, right? The lead up, because it was after beating Gilbert, they were like, you're guaranteed next. And then you're like, when is it happening? They're like, well, Kobe has to fight first. So then I'm sitting there and playing the waiting game. And then they offered me Usman. They're like, well, if you don't want to wait, we could give you Usman. So we were at talks with Usman, and then Usman ended up fighting Hamza on short notice. So then I was like, all right, well, there's nothing else they could put in front of me. It's going to be me against the winner of Kobe and Leon. Then that fight happens, and then Leon's trying to brush it off like nah, there's still other guys I could look at and see who's next. And he even brought up Gilbert Burns. And I'm like, bro, I just beat Gilbert Burns. So I'm sitting there, in limbo, like, what's happening? I'm calling my manager every day, and Ali's my manager, and he's like, bro, trust me, Dana's not going to go against his word. He's going to give you the shot. He's going to give you the shot. And then all of a sudden 300 comes up, and I'm like, oh, so we're probably going to be 300. And then they say, oh, they offered to fight to 3 other guys, and I wasn't one of those guys. So then, like, I'm sitting there like, bro, wait, no way am I about to get screwed right now. Are they going to give it to somebody else?
Did you ask, like, why didn't I get the fight at 300? If they were trying to get Leon to fight at 300, why didn't you get that title shot?
For me, it was just, I put it out there. I said, if they really wanted Leon to fight there, they would have put me on there. Because I said yes. They said they asked Islam. They said they asked Shavkat. They said they asked Hamza. And they all said no because of Ramadan. But I fought multiple times during Ramadan. So for me, I'm like, if they really wanted Leon, they could have had him with me. But I think they just wanted to have that shock factor with 300, where it's like, oh, double champ status for Islam. Or Hamzat's obviously a huge star. He comes back down. So I think they just wanted that. And Leon's not a promoter. He doesn't really promote his fights in general. Obviously, he's a great fighter. But for 300, I think they want somebody that's going to try to push the event.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
The rules are the rules. A guy makes it to the top of the heap. He's supposed to be next in line for a title shot.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm like, what else do I got to do?
All the purists felt that way. I didn't see anybody who's like a real solid MMA fan who felt that was a lot of the casuals. A lot of the casuals jumping in with their goofy opinions on things.
But that's the age we live in, right? The troll age. Nobody has a profile picture. They just say the dumbest stuff.
Well, not only that, you have a look, the reality of the numbers is, I had a joke in my act that 90% of all Twitter is done by 10% of the people, and those people are 100% retarded. But it really almost is that. It's a joke, but it's kind of almost true, because are you commenting on shit all the time? Do you go to someone's YouTube videos and talk shit?
No.
You're busy.
Yeah.
You're busy being the fucking welterweight champion of the world. You ain't got no time for that. So the people that have time to be doing that all the time are, unfortunately, generally not doing that good. They're not. Michael Jordan's not leaving YouTube comments. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like the people that are engaged in these attacks on specific fighters in particular, they're usually just dorks. And I get it that these dorks buy pay-per-view, and I get it these dorks, but they're not most people. Most people want to see the best people fight the best people. And would it be exciting to see Islam go up and try to win at 170? Fuck yeah, it would be. I'd be all in for that fight. Unfortunately for you, I mean, it sounds great, but if I was running things, I'd be like, the fights are going to be fucking great anyway. It's UFC 300. Everyone's going to be super hyped up. There's so much on the line. It's a crazy fucking card. That's a great fight. It's a great fight.
Yeah, and it's 2 guys that are on 10-fight winning streaks.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
But how weird was it to have to do the fight at like 5 in the morning?
Oh, my God.
So let's explain that to people who don't know. The UFC that was done in England was done on American pay-per-view time. So the card had to start. What did it start, like 1 a.m.?
Yeah, it started, the first fight was 1 a.m.
First fight of the night, 1 a.m. Undercard, UFC Fight Pass, first fight of the night. That's crazy. That's so crazy. As if we can't watch it earlier in the day. As if UFC fans on a fucking Saturday are going to say, oh, the pay-per-view starts at noon. Okay. We watch football games at noon. We wouldn't watch world title fights at noon. Making you guys fight at 5 in the morning to me was bananas. I was like, that is so contrary to anything you would want from optimum physical performance.
Yeah, it was wild. Like, we got down there the week before on Saturday, and we found a gym, so we're like, let's start trying to work out at 4 a.m. because being the main event, they said it'll probably be on around like 5:30. So the hardest part was just trying to stay up from midnight to 4 a.m. to go drive to this gym. And, we had like a big house, so we had a bunch of people with us, but one person yawns, and it's like addictive. And it's like, bro, it's midnight. We're all just like watching Netflix. And then we didn't have no games or anything, so we were just like trying to watch movies.
Wow.
And then one guy yawns, and you're like, I'm going to go upstairs by myself for a second. And then just like, the PI is really good because they gave us like some jet lag like glasses that shine light in your eyes that you're supposed to turn on at right when the sun set. Because when the sun sets, you start getting melatonin in your body and it makes you want to go to sleep. So they like put this on when the sun sets, so it like shocks your body, make you think it's about to be sunlight.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So I'm walking around the house with like these glasses that are like shining light in my eyes, and it still was hard. We would show up to the
body's
gym.
like, fuck you, bitch. It's 3 a.m.
we went to go work out. So I'm trying to get everybody to work out with me. So like we had maybe us 5 or 6 guys with us, and then the gym was at 30 minutes away. So by the time we finished working out at night, it was starting. The sun was rising because it was like 7 a.m. And I'm like, how am I about to fall asleep right now? So I would like take melatonin, fight week, and then it would wake me up at like 2 p.m. and I would still be like groggy the rest of the day. And then you have to do like interviews and stuff like that. It was hard.
So did you try to stay on Chicago time the whole thing?
I tried, but it was still hard just because, like I said, that time in between where that board time,
right? Where
we're like, all right, we got to work out at 4 a.m. and then during the day we had interviews and stuff starting at 3 p.m. They adjusted those times, so then we would finish everything. It'd be like 7 p.m.
How have they done London cards in the past? Did they do that in the past?
They've done it once with, I think it was Bisping against Hendo twice. Hendo 2.
The second one?
Yeah, the second one. But other than that, they would just do it in American time zone would be like daytime here.
That's so crazy.
But I think pay-per-view wise, they expect more people to buy pay-per-views in prime time, like 9 p.m.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
But when they go to Abu Dhabi, we still fight Abu Dhabi time, nighttime.
Yeah.
And then over here, it's daytime.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they see like a change in numbers with that, and that made them adjust.
They probably do, but whatever.
Yeah.
That's my feeling. It's whatever. Like, you can't have people fight at 5 a.m. That's nonsense. You can't have an audience there at 5 a.m. Fucking exhausted for a world title fight. Exhausted. Can't even believe you're still awake.
For me, I was like, I hope they are exhausted, because I'm like, they're probably gonna be booing me anyway. So I'm like, let them get drunk starting at midnight. Let them be dead tired once it gets to that level.
How many people were asleep in the audience?
People started leaving early. It was like the 4th round, and I think I got the last takedown, and I was like finishing on top of him. They said people were leaving.
Wow.
And I was like, that's a good sign. So that just tells me that they know that there's nothing else he could really do.
He had one big moment in the last round, right when he got on top.
Yeah, I still got it right here, and it's just like I just keep shaking my head every time I think of it. But it just tells me that I still have stuff to fix, still have stuff to work on, and you can never get like too comfortable, especially with him. But yeah, my coach is the type that'll like tell me everything I did wrong after a fight instead of the stuff I did right. So right away, somebody, now look at your face. Now look at you, like you did that because you took your foot off the gas for 1 second, and something could happen.
Yeah.
Who knows if there was a minute left, what could have happened, or blah blah blah. And I'm like, I won, coach. I'm the world champion. You chill out.
But he wants you to be perfect.
Yeah.
That was it was interesting because you could see him using energy management. You could see him trying to figure out when to just defend and when to try to break free, and when to plan himself and fire shots, and when to just stay on the back foot and keep moving. Like, he tried to hold you off a few times, but I think whatever you were doing for strength and conditioning, your cardio was insane, because the volume, just the sheer volume and pressure that you were putting on him, and the fact that you keep that up solid 5 rounds.
Yeah,
that was insane. So in college, now your athletic career is in order. You're getting your schoolwork in. What was it that made you even consider being an MMA fighter?
Ben Askren.
Yeah. Funky Ben.
Funky Ben. And I didn't even consider. He tricked me.
How did he trick you?
I mean, all through college, I had teammates that did MMA. They all wrestled, but when it was over, they all was amateur MMA fighters. Corey, you should try it. Like, your movement and stuff, you're so light on your feet and fast as your weight, you can kill it. But I'm like, I got metal plate in my leg, bro. I had tore my shoulder, and I got so many injuries, I wouldn't be good. I'd be laid up too much. Like, I didn't like what you think, this and this. Denied it. My senior year, 5th year senior, Ben comes up, he started working with me. And Ben was like one of my main wrestling partners. And kind of like you say with Lemon Chaco, like, you got somebody, you go to punch, he's not there. Ben's the same way in wrestling. And I used to try to pick his brain. Like, how do you do this? Like, I'll be dead to right on a double leg, pick you up in the air. I go to take you down, and I land on my face, and you're nowhere to be found. You on my back. Like, how does that happen? That's why they call me the Funk, man. I'm the king of the funk. The same hair, come in practice with sandals, kick it off, put his shoes on. He just looked like a flabby guy. Like, his guy.
That's the crazy thing about him. He doesn't look physically imposing at all.
My first time going like, this is Ben. Like, I'm about to blow through this dude. Hit him with a double leg, gone. Every time, high crotch, gone. I took him down, I think, one time in my college career. Clean takedown. And then it's just like, what the? And after college, I was like, I want to do the Olympics, bro. And you've been there, but I don't know any freestyle rules. Like, oh, we can work together, whatever. Him and my coach both wrestle at the Olympic level. Working together. And then one day he sent me an address, like, oh, I'm not making it here today, but meet me here at this address and we'll work, blah, blah, blah. Bring your gear. I get up there and it's Rufus Sport, but it's outside of a bank. It's still like, it's underneath a bank downstairs.
Yeah, I've been in
So
that
I'm looking
spot.
like, where am I going? And I text him like, oh, go to the side, it's downstairs. You're going to see a sign, Rufus Sport, this and this. And I walk down the stairs, like, what is this? He must have mats in here or something. And I go in there, and you got UFC there doing Anthony Pettis doing a jump off kick, making some photo for the magazine or whatever. And you got like Pascal Cruz and Sergio Pettis. You got Ben Askren. It was a few other Eric Koch, other UFC guys. And I'm looking like, what is going on? All these guys hitting pads. They got MMA practice. And Ben ran out the cage. Oh, hey, Cole, I'm glad you can make this and this. Well, this ain't no wrestling gym. What is this? He's like, oh, yeah, well, I want to talk to you about that. Welcome to a new sport.
What?
What? It's like, I mean, I know I heard you say you didn't want to fight, whatever, but bro, I think you could be good. I just want you to try it. If you don't like it after you try it, we'll go back to wrestling. Blah blah blah. This and this. I'm like, all right. And I go to the front desk, and the lady I meet at the front desk to introduce me was my wife now. Didn't know that.
That's
Jenny's just in my
crazy.
desk, like, what is? So I get the gear. They give me some gloves and whatever. And I was like, I really don't want to do like the training. All right, so aside and watch. I hit the bag a little bit. I'm just watching. And at the time, this is when my mind's already set. You got an opportunity. You got to try it. But I didn't try it that day. I remember driving home. It's an hour and a half drive. Whole drive, I'm at myself like, you a bitch. Talking to myself like, you a bitch, Corey. You didn't do that. You had an opportunity. You didn't even take it. You a bitch. I can't believe you didn't do that. So I get home. I tell Ben, like, I'm sorry I didn't try, but I would like to do it again. Like, well, it's good because tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., we up there. All right, get up early, 7:35, motorcycle up, shoot all the way up to Milwaukee. I get there, Duke Rufus open the door. Oh, Corey, nice to meet you. I heard about you. This and this. Like, I came yesterday, but I didn't do it, but I want to try it today. I just watched. Like, well, that's good. I'm glad you came. Like, why is that? Like, stay sparring day. like I had
Spar
to
with no sparring at all ever before?
I did amateur boxing when I broke my leg.
Yeah.
I did like boxing at the gym for rehab because my brother-in-law was a professional boxer at the time. And I had 2 amateur fights. And so I had that. And I came with my gloves and everything, but old ratty title gloves falling apart. And like, all I got is my gloves and my shorts. Like, don't worry, we got gear. We get you stuff, headgear and shin pads, this and this. They gave me 2 opposite combat corner shin pads. One was like a youth and one was like an extra large. So one covered my knee and one covered like half my shin. And like this old raggedy headgear. Like, you got a mouthpiece? Like, yeah. Like, that's all you need. So we're going to spar. So my first time I go with Ben. So Ben, taking it easy on me. Boom, boom, I punch him. He shoot on me. I defended in MMA. It's different. I can sprawl a lot harder. All right, well, there you go. Now we're going to put you with somebody else. Of course, it's Anthony Pettis. Like, he's too small. I was like, well, you need to feel like to get kicked. What? Bow! Ah! What the? Like, what the? Ah! He just kept kicking my leg, and I grabbed. He's like, what do you do? Like, I'm a wrestler. I said, take him down. And I took him down. All right, you too big for Anthony. You're gonna hurt him. And then he put me with a heavyweight. He said, now I want you to take everything you did. You was punching Ben, and you took him down. I took down Anthony. And do everything with this guy your size. And I fucking just hit him with a bunch of jab crosses, blast double on the punch. Just like, just ground. Didn't even know ground, but just hit him like Donkey Kong. And stand up and do it again. I did it again. I just kept doing it. And when it was over, he was like, all right, there you go. Your first sparring session out the way. He said, I hate to tell the court, I heard you kept saying you're not a fighter, but you are an MMA fighter. And I can tell you right now, been working with a lot of guys, you could be in the UFC in 3 fights. Like, yeah, right, whatever. I'm thinking, like, I'm dead serious. In 3 fights, so what you got and your mentality from what I've seen in wrestling, if you put it to this, you could be in the UFC in 3 fights. Whatever. But I like that. I like the training, and I kept coming back, and I never wrestled again.
So what year is this?
This was 2012, right after college.
That's not that long ago, man.
Oh, my first fight, I didn't debut until 2013.
Top-level MMA fighter in one of the most talent-rich divisions, in the light heavyweight division, and you only been doing it for 7 years.
I was in the UFC with 7 months fighting. After my first fight, 7 months. And I was in the top 10 within a year. That's the thing.
God.
So I'm learning. I didn't have an amateur career. I had 3 fights, the Ultimate Fighter, won that.
Top 10
and that was
inside
it.
a year of all MMA training.
That's it.
Jesus
and that's why people
Christ.
keep talking this shit about. I'm like, they don't understand. I ain't did this like most of these guys. I look at pictures of guys I've been training with. I got guys at the gym now that's still amateurs. They post a throwback Thursday. My senior year in college, I have a throwback picture. It'd be me in college in 2007. It'd be them in like their 3rd or 4th MMA fight. It's like, and these guys are still amateur.
And how old are you now?
I'm 29.
Dude, you're still not even really in your prime. Your prime is like 31, 32.
Like I said, I'm learning now.
You are learning now, but it's crazy that you were in a top 10 a year into MMA training. Because we always cite Francis Ngannou. That Francis Ngannou is one of the craziest stories ever. The guy goes from no MMA training at all to 5 years later fighting for the title. At like him, but what you did is as impressive. The fact that you hit top 10 with a year of MMA training, that's bananas, man.
Even in the Tough House, I remember the guys, like you can hear them in the kitchen. We was all talking about, oh, what's your background, this and this. I went on Tough with 4 or 5 months experience. Had my 3 fights back to back to back. And I remember my coach was pushing it, that third fight. We got to get this third fight. Why are you pushing it so hard? And then when it was over, I was like, all right, this is why we had to get that last fight. Ultimate Fighter Trials is next Tuesday in Indiana. You're going. Get the fuck out of here. I got to work. I ain't going nowhere. And they called me Monday night like, yo, what are you doing? Like, I'm at work. I work night shift. I don't get off till 1. And when he get off, meet me at my house like, what? Like, we're going to Indiana. Like, I'm going to get to UFC. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to go the hard way. Like, all right, I'll see you at my house. Hung up the phone. I get off. I go to the house like, bro, what the fuck you talking about? He jumped in the driver's seat like, get in. Like, what are you talking about?
So you were saying if you get in, you want to go the hard way.
Like, get earned from picking up fights.
Not doing the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, I wanted to like get enough fights and somebody see me like, all right, here's your take a short notice fight or whatever.
Yeah, but that was a fantastic opportunity for exposure. And
exactly. But in my mind, I had just started 3-4 months. I'm thinking like I'm just beating up cans. I don't think I'm ready yet.
Right.
But they say like, Corey, we see you, man. Like you have the opportunity to beat these guys. Like you beating this guy. He's been training forever. He's been pro. He's been Bellator. Dustin Jacoby was my first sparring partner when I went to Illinois. He had been in UFC,
He's
Bellator.
doing great in Glory now.
Yeah. And that was one of my first, and I was
beast.
taking him down and ground and pound, but striking, I didn't have that. But all you gotta do is use your takedowns, man. You're taking everybody down. You're doing good. Use that. And when I left, when I went there, whatever, my coach was like, just go do what you do. I have no doubt they're gonna pick you. But the reason they picked me wasn't the same. They picked me thinking it was gonna be an easy fight for whoever. But it's backfired on them because my work ethic, they didn't know me.
Right.
I was cracking jokes like, I can beat anybody you have in here. They was laughing. I'm thinking they laughing at my jokes. Come to find out, they tell me at the end, one guy told me, like, when we picked you, we didn't think you could win. Like, going after the semi, like, we picked you because we thought you was going to lose to Kelly and Nuts and get him an easy fight in. And now, look, it kind of backfired. And it was like, because they didn't know who I was. They didn't know me as a person. And I name dropped Matt Hughes, and I think that was the only reason why I got there. Like, I trained with Matt Hughes here and there, blah, blah. You know Matty? Oh, Matty's our guy. Oh, can you make it to Vegas next week? I think I can make it yesterday if you would have told me. And I go, pack your bags, you're going.
Wow.
And that was it.
But the thing is, even though you were a year in, you were so many years into wrestling. And I think to this day that wrestling's the most important skill in MMA because you get to dictate where the fight takes place. The superior wrestler gets to every fight starts standing up and you have to know how to strike, but a superior wrestler gets to dictate where the fights take place. And you see that with guys like Khabib. You see that with so many superior grapplers. When they get a hold of a guy, it's their dominance is one of the most important aspects of fighting. So you did have all that.
But I had the basic striking and the wrestling. But like I said, when I came to meet Mark Henry and Ricardo Almeida, like that's what took me into a martial artist. So that's only
like 2 years into your training.
That wasn't even 2 years. That was a year and like 3 months. And I guess that's why I didn't have it. And Mark tells people all the time, like when you hear him say it, I hear him tell people all the time, like, you guys want to see like hard work and what happened? Corey is a pure fighter of what I'm coaching because he came here with nothing. Like you get guys that come to him like Lance Palmer now. Right. He's been fighting so long. He's won the PFL. You got all these guys have been fighting 10, 12 years before they meet Mark. So it's kind of like they just tuning up something. Yeah. When you got a guy like me that has nothing. The gym I was at, we literally, like I was at Rufus Sport for a little bit, but I got the college coaching job and had to leave. So I met a group of guys through Mark Fiore at the time, but he ended up leaving to go to overseas. And it was probably 6 of us, and we had a guy who owned a warehouse. Like, oh, you can put mats in here and just in the corner, you guys can just train. We didn't have jiu-jitsu practice. We never had striking practice, no Thai practice. We literally showed up, ground and pound, MMA gloves. We punch each other in the face. We learn how to get out. Sparring, no bitch ass in sparring. I mean, you got injuries, we don't want to hear it. Just beat the shit out of each other until it's over. It was horrible. Wintertime, no heat. We had a kerosene heater about this big on the corner of the mat, and we in Illinois.
Oh,
like
Jesus.
Down in mid-central Illinois, it's freezing. Oh. -20, we in there fucking dudes breaking, hit the back, freezing, break the hand. We don't have any insurance. It's us beating the shit out of each other. But we got the opportunity for one of us. It was 3 12-5ers, but I was the only one that they was going to let to go to the Ultimate Fighter. I had the least amount of fights, but you're the only one that can actually work and make us look good on there.
So you get on the Ultimate Fighter, you meet Mark Henry, you wind up winning, and then you go from there, you go and moved to New Jersey? Is that what you did?
I went home. I had met Ali on the show. You know, I mean, Ali was there every day. He even said, like, bro, your wrestling is good. I like how you good at wrestling. Henzo came on. He said, like, your wrestling is key. That's when everybody let me know. Mark, first thing he said, you're wrestling. They made it known, like, wrestling is going to run this. And even Ali said right then, he was like, I'll work with you. And you don't even have to sign me as a manager, but I'll help you. Like, I help lead you in the right way, what you need, because I didn't have anybody to direct me. I knew nothing. Ben Askren was the only thing I had, but he was in Wisconsin. You know, I'm out here on my own. And Ali, I remember saying, like, if you want to win this show and to be the best you can, brother, you need to go to Jersey. And Mark and him had already texted me, like, you're more than welcome to come out and train whenever you want. By the time I had a girl who had a kid and my family, and the coaching was my dream job, still my dream job. And I loved that. You know, I didn't want to leave that for anything.
What were you coaching? You were
college
coaching wrestling?
Yep, at the junior college level. And I remember I only made $220 a week, but I worked other jobs to make my dream a reality. That's what I wanted to do and fight. And I was like, if you want to be the best, you want to win this show, the best opportunity you got, man, you need to go to Jersey. Like, I know you got guys there, but even my guys told me after the show, you need to leave because we can't do anything for you. But I didn't want to. I was so grounded today. I didn't want to leave that. That's what I knew. And when Ali said, bro, you got to go. Like, I can never live in Jersey. It's too fast-paced. I'm a country boy. I like outdoors and this hunting and stuff like that. Like, you need to get to Jersey, brother, if you want to be the best. If you don't want to be the best, stay where you are. I remember telling my mom, like, I said, I need to go to Jersey. My mom said when I was in high school, my senior year, she said, if you get the opportunity ever to leave, I want you to go far away.
Did you think about going anywhere else, like going to Rufus-Sport permanently or anything?
That was a thought.
Yeah.
That was a thought, but they didn't have the wrestling. Ben, but that was about it. You know, I'm a wrestling base, and I fell in love with the way Frankie and them train. I love that. But I was looking for something like that. Mark Fiore had that, but when he left, had nowhere else to go. And I was thinking, and my mom said, if that's what the best is, you need to go be the best. You know, my brother was like, yo.
Zinc's involved in about 300 processes in the body. It's antiviral that we just talked about. It's anti-Alzheimer's because it turns out that the production of the chemical called beta amyloid, there's an enzyme that regulates it, and it's zinc dependent. So if it's working, it's called secretase. It's called alpha secretase. It's zinc dependent. Beta secretase is not. So beta secretase takes and makes the beta amyloid that causes the Alzheimer's, the inflammation. And with that inflammation, you then start getting the same thing in CTE. So in all these inflammatory conditions, they have the same beta amyloid and cause for CTE, the hyperphosphorylated tau protein that we call NFTs, neurofibril tangles. So they're all related. So what quercetin does is it increases mitochondrial replication in about 7 days, doubles the amount of mitochondria intracellularly. It helps increase and deliver something called IGF binding protein 3, insulin-like binding protein 3. Binding protein 3 is always looked at as being the carrier for IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor, growth hormone, turns on in the liver the production of insulin-like growth factor, which is the main below-the-neck growth factor for our body, improves protein synthesis, decreases inflammation too.
Wow. Okay. A sidetrack. When you're talking about beta amyloid and Alzheimer's, wasn't there a significant amount of fraud that was exposed about Alzheimer's studies that put into question a lot of the ideas that people had about Alzheimer's? Wasn't that something that happened recently?
Well, in the train of thought on Alzheimer's, you know, they're saying that it's due to the recessive genes. Well, if you look at the studies recently, 95% of the cases of Alzheimer's disease appear to be due to trauma and aging. Trauma and aging. Only 5%.
So trauma, like head trauma?
Head trauma. Because what happens is trauma stimulates the brain because of inflammation to increase the production of beta amyloid. And it's because they found recently another secretase. What secretases are the enzymes that convert a protein called APP, Alzheimer's precursor protein. And it's a long protein, and two enzymes go in and clip it here and clip it here. And that piece is beta amyloid. That's the bad stuff. That's a beta secretase and a gamma secretase. But they also have something called alpha secretase. So if alpha secretase and gamma secretase cut this APP, it generates alpha amyloid, which is inert, not inflammatory. And so what did they find recently? Something called delta secretase. Delta secretase and gamma gives you beta amyloid. So how do you generate delta secretase in the body? Trauma, aging. So that's why most of the cases of Alzheimer's disease are inflammatory based. So what are the things that...
I'm sorry, but most cases, is there a certain age where people start to develop it? And has there been any cases of very young people that get Alzheimer's?
There's a young form of Alzheimer's, and that might be directly due to having had head trauma and developing this delta amyloid or delta secretase generating amyloid, beta amyloid that creates the Alzheimer's disease. As you get older, 65 years of age and above, that could be 5% genetic, but I think what the literature is really speaking towards is that it's all has an inflammatory basis. Remember, trauma in the brain equates out to inflammatory processes. It's part of the brain's ability to try and protect us.
Right.
Okay? Remove junk, bacteria, mold, viruses from the brain, and also metabolites of abnormal metabolism in the brain.
What was the scandal, the
I don't
Alzheimer's research scandal? Because it was pretty significant, and they were saying that it throws into question all of these previous assumptions and therapies that they were providing for Alzheimer's disease. And this person had made a significant amount of money.
Yeah. It's the antibodies. It's the treatment protocols, the antibodies against beta amyloid. And they found that even though you were against beta amyloid, you were still progressing on to develop symptoms of Alzheimer's disease.
But they were talking about fraud. Now, this was like fraud in
just
scientific
recently.
Research.
Yeah, this is recent.
How a retracted paper affected the course of Alzheimer's research.
But it's one paper, and what was the focus of?
Okay. June 2024 landmark Alzheimer's
Beta
research
amyloid.
paper was retracted due to fraud allegations. Do we waste billions of dollars and thousands of hours of scientist time? Maybe not. Are new potentially hopeful drugs on the market targeting the subject of the paper, amyloid beta? The video breaks down the amyloid beta hypothesis, the fraud itself, and where we go from here. So what is the fraud itself, Jamie? Does it say? So you can find an article that's just not a video, not attached to a video.
Beta amyloid data. See, they've been relying on beta amyloid as being the focus. And what they're finding is the treatment that addresses beta amyloid, an antibody against beta amyloid, people are still getting progression of the disease.
I understand this, but I just want to know what the fraud was.
Oh, okay.
So what is the fraud? Amyloid hypothesis. Scroll down a little bit, Jamie. What's the fraud? Where does it get to what did the paper bullshit about?
Putting it into perspective.
Okay. 56 paper lead to.
But later published and failed to find.
Where's the fraud? What's it say?
Let me try a different search.
Yeah, just find out what was the. This seems like very involved. This is a science journal.
Well, you know that there are papers that have been written about reproducibility. Reproducibility is where a researcher does a paper, makes a claim about the results of his science, and then people look at that and they want to go and reproduce it to prove it. They found that 70% of them can't be reproduced. And when you looked at the actual scientist who did the original work, goes back and tries to reproduce it, 7% failure rate. So there are major publications that have talked about this reproducibility error. I mean, you can go on to Google Scholar or else into Google and look at reproducibility.
Okay, here it is. But over the past 2 years, questions have arisen about some of Masila. How do you say his name? Masila.
You were
Maslia.
great.
Maslia's research. Science investigation has now found that scores of his lab studies at UCSD and NIA are riddled with apparently falsified Western blots. Images used to show the presence of proteins and micrographs of brain tissue. Numerous images seem to have been inappropriately reused within and across papers, sometimes published years apart in different journals, describing divergent experimental conditions. After science brought initial concerns about Maslia's work to their attention, a neuroscientist and forensic analysts specializing in scientific work who had previously worked with science produced a 300-page dossier revealing a steady stream of suspect images between 1997 and 2023 at 132 of his published research papers. Science did not pay them for their work. In our opinion, this pattern of anomalous data raises credible concern for research misconduct and calls into question a remarkably large body of scientific work.
Okay, so it seems like the fact that he was reusing the same images, stating that they were new images, so he was stacking the deck in his favor.
Right.
Because he had a point to make. That
God, that's so gross.
Yeah, $2.6 billion.
That's what the budget was.
That's the National Institute of Health,
Jeez. Dwarfs the rest of the National Institute, the NIA combined.
He was in charge of the Division of Neuroscience.
That is so crazy. So the budget of the Division of Neuroscience alone was $2.6 billion in the last fiscal year. And this guy was a key leader for the effort. Man, how gross. But that's pressure and competition and very ambitious people who have shitty morals.
Yeah, well.
Right? That's what that is.
Yes. Publish or perish.
Publish or perish is the motto, right?
That's the motto. If they don't publish and have a positive finding, they're not going to get funding for the next project that they have.
And when someone does publish, like this gentleman who allegedly published falsified data, is there someone who goes over that stuff to make sure that that's not the case?
Yeah, the editors of the journal that he's presenting it to.
Right, but is there preferential treatment for people that are established scientists that are thought to be beyond criticism?
Theoretically,
like a gentleman like this who has an enormous position of power and a $2.6 billion budget behind him?
Well, but look at the bottom line. Which pharmaceutical company was involved in it? Okay. Which pharmaceutical? And, that's one of the problems that, RFK Jr. will be generating, is that as he finds that this science is 70% you can't reproduce it, meaning that it's maybe not accurate. Maybe there's a little bit of
that's being kind.
Bias.
That's being kind.
I'm trying to be kind.
Yeah, because otherwise it's fraudulent, right?
It is, correct.
I was just reading an article about Alzheimer's that was claiming that Alzheimer's didn't even exist until modern times.
Statins.
Statins cause Alzheimer's? Is that what you're saying? This article was connecting it to our diet, the standard American diet. And they were saying that all the bullshit food that people eat is contributing to this condition. And what I was going to get to you is that would lead to inflammation, correct?
You got it.
Because the bullshit American diet filled with crap is terrible for you, and that leads to inflammation.
You look at the inflammatory neurodegenerative diseases. What does everyone have now? It says a low inflammatory diet.
Right.
That's what it talks about. Also, in high-impact interval training and high-impact aerobics, what happens is you can increase a chemical in the brain called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is something that helps to improve neuron-to-neuron communication and neurology of your brain. And I don't know if you saw, we have one of your favorite guys, Gerald McClellan. I don't know if you've seen some of the papers that have come out. He had a stroke in '95 fighting Nigel Benn in London. And during that fight, it was a horrible fight if you've ever seen the...
It's a crazy fight.
So anyway, he had a stroke from that and was hospitalized for 11 days in a coma in ICU in London. Gets out, his sister, Lisa McClellan, refuses to put him into a nursing home, into a hospice health, takes him into the house in Chicago, and for 29 years dealt with him. She develops an organization called Ring of Brotherhood, where Muhammad Ali's niece and son, I think, are part of it. And they take care of boxers who are leaving the ring who have symptoms, punch drunk, or what do they call it, precox or pugilistic, dementia pugilistic, And she contacted me and told me about her brother, and I looked at stuff, and what we did was we set up a fund, and we paid for his laboratory work and his initial assessment, and we found he was hormonally deficient. So what we ended up doing is putting him on to the hormone replacement and to one of the peptides that we use, which is called N-acetyl C-Max, which stimulates the brain to produce more brain-derived neurotrophic factor. He's in Chicago. I'm in California, or here in Texas, in Magnolia. And one of our docs in Chicago took the lead. I just gave her what to do. He's 20% better in 4 months on the protocol. He's now remembering things. He's communicating. He's on the phone. And a boxing journalist, Oliver Fennell, came from London to Chicago and wrote a paper which is called A Day in the Life of Gerald McClellan, and talks about what happened and where he's gone. And he's had some improvement.
That's incredible.
Phenomenal.
No fucking way, dude. If he won that fight, it would have been a horrible travesty of justice.
Do you remember Alessio Sakara versus Talis Latis?
No, I don't.
You don't remember that one?
No. What happened?
That one, Sakara got the decision, but Talis Latis took him down over and over, never really got hit standing, and took his back like 2 or 3 times.
Really?
And Sakara escaped all the back attempts and then got back to his feet. So the replays were all Sakara's escapes, back escapes.
Where was it at?
Guess who won?
Sakara?
Yeah.
Really?
Because the replays influenced the judges, man.
You think so?
I know so, dude. I was in the truck, dude, when that happened.
Oh,
Wow. What did you say? Hey, how come you guys aren't showing the replays of the takedowns and the back control?
I don't remember what happened.
Where was that at?
Watch that fight, and then you'll see at the end, all the replays are Sakara escaping back control, and he won.
Was this back in the day? When was this?
This was probably about 12 years ago.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Oh.
They don't
Back
know.
then,
They didn't know what the fuck they
They
were
were
looking at.
throwing chicken bones to decide
Watch
who won.
that fight, and then tell me who won. Who won?
They don't know.
Wow, it's amazing that you brought that up. That's a crazy fight.
Great
I'll never
reference.
forget that one. That's how I know. That sticks in my brain like those replays. That's why I thought of it.
that's why you said that.
replay. Because the judges are sitting there going, "Oh my God, what do I do? What do I do?" So they look at the replays, and if the replays are showing one guy is getting the better of the other guy, then they go, oh, "Okay." If they in the truck they think he's winning, so then okay, he's winning.
You know what's crazy is that
That's what happens, dude.
Nothing really significant has changed in terms of like the who judges fights. It's like basically the same kind of people, the same people. You're not seeing. Look, Ricardo Almeida is a judge in New York, which is a great thing, but you're not seeing a lot of that.
Nothing.
You're not seeing a
Yeah,
lot
we
of
need
like
more
experts.
of Ricardo Almeida type judges.
Yes, either former fighters or martial arts experts. Like, if you say that you want to be a judge, I want to see you show me how you apply Darce chokes. Show me what's the difference between an anaconda choke and a Darce choke. Show me show me how do you do a 10-finger guillotine. Show me. If you don't know what that is, if you don't know how to do it, how are you going to know whether or not someone's in danger when they're in the middle of a fight?
I'd also show them fights like the one you were talking about with Sakar and ladies, and be like, "How do you score this?
Right.
Who do you think's winning that?" You know?
You
This
guys
is
are
gonna be a
talking.
good
You guys
fight.
are talking all sorts of fucking common sense, dude.
All right,
That's
Dominic
not what it's
Cruz.
about.
Yeah,
Just
you're
hit me
right.
That's not
back.
what it's about.
You're right.
Dominic Cruz, well, I don't want to say that, but he says so fucking hot. Part of what he said I will not repeat. Yeah, he says fucking hot.
You can't say fucking.
Got
No, I can say that. I can't say what else he said. I'll show you. You want to see it?
Yes.
You know, it's like they think that about football helmets too, that they would actually be a safer game if they couldn't clash heads with a helmet on. That they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't play like that anymore.
That's just not true. Them clashing skulls is not safer.
God, could you imagine if they? But the idea is that the only reason why they play that way is because of the helmets and the shoulder gear.
Yeah.
But if you took that stuff away, they wouldn't play like that.
Yeah, well, back in the day, they barely had any pads in 30s or 40s or whatever when they were playing with those little tiny helmets.
Bro, that game, if you were an outsider, like if you didn't know how big it was, like if you didn't understand anything about the cultural significance of football, and they showed you all the brain damage, and they showed you what it is, you'd be like, oh yeah, make that illegal.
Yeah, probably. If
Stop
anything
it.
should be illegal.
Yeah, stop doing that, kids.
Yeah.
It's too constant, yeah.
Don't run into each other. Don't smash heads. That's crazy.
The concept of defensive offensive line, just the idea that is the
it's so
funniest
funny
thing.
'cause-
As soon as you say go, just clunk heads with another
Right, but
human
of
being.
course,
at
we
full
don't
speed.
want it to be illegal, and it's a fun thing to watch, and it's a great way for some guys to make a fuckload of money and weigh the risks versus the rewards.
Yeah, but then a bunch of middle schoolers are snapping their necks,
Yep.
and my kid will never play football.
Oh yeah,
It's
I get
funny
it. But where do you stop? They could legalize MMA with that justification.
well, with MMA,
I don't want
it's-
that to happen.
It's because we punching and kicking is so inherently violent. That's we see it as being this violent act, right? That we go, oh shit, fighting. That's like crazy. That's the most violent sport. But it's so much less of a dangerous sport than football. Football, these guys are just running head first at each other, and every one of them has major issues.
You also get blindsided in football.
Yep.
You know, you'll have your eye on someone and then you get head-to-head taken out from someone else. That doesn't happen as much in MMA, but I mean, when people get like head kick knocked unconscious, that's not good for your brain.
No, but how often are football players
bad.
being concussed
All
just
the
per
time.
game, like just smashing into each
all the
other,
time, yeah.
and then they get up and they just do it again and again and again.
Well, now they're a little bit stricter, I think, on like if you get a concussion, they won't put you back in, at least the way they used to, like when I was a kid. But it's still happening.
But I think
all
fighters
the time.
are getting concussed once a year. If they're getting knocked out once a year, I mean,
But there's also subconcussive trauma,
Yeah.
which seems to be the problem with CTE. It's not just the knockouts; it's just the thumps, the
Over and over
constant
again.
thumps over and over and over.
And
over
training,
time.
sparring, these
that's
guys.
They think that's the real problem. That's why also soccer players are getting it.
Right.
Soccer players are starting to get CTE.
So what's
ball.
worse, like getting like a Conor McGregor one-punch knockout, or fighting Nick Diaz and just getting like
It's a good
for
question.
5 rounds?
You're probably better off getting one punch.
Yeah.
KO'd.
Flash knockouts probably better than.
Yeah, you're probably better off getting dropped.
just getting beat up by Nick Diaz for 15 minutes would just suck.
Wasn't that the actual?
He's just jarring you.
Wasn't the initial argument about MMA being safer than boxing is that it's not so much so, with the gloves being bigger in boxing and all that stuff, that's actually worse because you're going to keep taking too many
standing
shots.
8 count as well. You can get knocked down and then get up and go right. You'll be concussed and like, all right, keep on fighting. Whereas in MMA, they'll stop it if you're not defending yourself.
That's probably definitely better. Yeah, the thing about 8 counts and 10 counts, like, but people have gotten off the deck and had amazing performances, so you'd never want to stop it. Like, look at Tyson Fury. Gets off the deck twice against Deontay Wilder. In MMA, that fight would have been stopped.
Right.
So it's like one of those things, particularly the last round. When he dropped him, he would have definitely punched him a few times and he would have been out cold because he was flat. Flat on his back. In MMA, that would be the end of the fight. And we are lucky it wasn't, because he got up like a fucking superhero and even won the rest of the round. He outboxed him for the rest of the round. He survived the initial barrage and then started catching him as he was coming in. And as Deontay was being reckless, he caught him one time, like stung him. And you're like, holy shit, he's winning this round now. Now he's winning the rest of the round after getting almost obliterated. So there's an argument that that's better.
The crazy thing,
entertainment value.
But the crazy thing from the CTE perspective about boxing to me is that people will get hit and then they get hit and grab someone because that's just everyone's instinct, and they grab them, and then you have a little ref who goes, no. Keep punching at the heads. Like don't do anything to avoid from it. No. Step it back out. And then and that in MMA you'll see a lot. Someone get hit and then they get into a clinch and you get a few minutes in a clinch where they're kind of like, okay, I'm not taking head damage right now.
But the smart thing about that is that's how you're supposed to fight. Like, you're giving people options to defend themselves. It shouldn't be you can't defend yourself other than punching back. That seems kind of crazy. Like, but I could grab them and just stop these punches. No, against the rules. Like, what kind of rules do we have? Like, you can only beat me up if I let you beat me up?
That was one of the points
You
that the
could both look
Gracies
like
used to
pussies
make.
and dance around for a half hour.
But do you remember the original, those like Gracie videos that they'd make in early UFC?
Gracie in action.
Yeah, and what they used to say all the time was, and it's so true, what's so interesting is that if 2 boxers just have a street fight, they're going into a clinch, and it's probably going to end up on the ground at some point.
Sometimes,
because the ref has to break up a clinch over and over and over again to make boxing happen. Like even when you're a professional boxer and you don't know anything about wrestling or grappling, you still end up grabbing the other guy because that's just like
the only time that doesn't take place is when one guy knows how to strike and the other guy doesn't. And you see a lot of those videos online where 2 dudes decide to get into some sort of a street altercation, and one guy actually is like a boxer, and he catches the guy, and the guy falls and bounces his head off the concrete out cold. There's a bunch of those videos.
That's bad.
That's different. See, the thing about the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is, like, you got to always be aware there's people like that out there. There's always guys who can punch you in the face. And if they know how to wrestle too, and they can keep you away and just keep punching you in the face, you better know how to take them down.
You just don't know, dude. Fuck, dude. 2019, you have no idea who knows
now
who
people
what.
know shit.
You gotta look. You gotta look at their ears. You gotta look for little signs, like look in their eyes,
Look at
shake
the
their
size
hand.
of their necks.
Yeah, dude.
Like, dudes with skinny necks aren't getting choked.
But yeah, as far as like skill, like definitely, you don't
it's
know.
a weird time for fighting. It's like, and I like both kinds. I like just stand-up only fights. I like watching those, and I like mixed martial arts fights. But I think like Terrence Crawford's coming on next, and I think watching someone like him box, like when you see the skill level that guy has, switching stances, doing all kinds of befuddling people, getting their range, figuring them out, and then just teeing them up with perfect timing. Like that's almost only possible, that kind of artistry, if there's no wrestling,
right?
If there's no leg kicks, if there's only the boxing. That's the only way you see that. Like that kind of like beautiful combination, because otherwise you would do other shit too.
Yeah.
You would leg kick, you would try to take them down, and that. So like the level of dominance that a real Floyd Mayweather, a real world champion boxer has with their hands, it's hard to really appreciate until you see it live and you know like what you're seeing. Like if you're in the building with a guy when he's beating somebody up when they're sparring. It's like you go, oh, like this is, you guys are playing two totally different games.
Well, yeah, boxing, it's like, I literally look at boxing as like very much a sport. And I think MMA is the closest thing that we have to competitive fighting.
100%.
That's sort of like the difference. It's, all things considered, it's still not fighting. You can't grab somebody's fucking balls and yank them off their body and bite their nose. I know.
You used to be able to happen.
With the Joe Son who got
you couldn't bite and you couldn't eye gouge.
Hit him with a fucking trash can
and then
lid.
It became you can't fish hook. And then, but you used to be able to punch the balls. There was a fucking great video of Keith Hackney fighting Joe Son.
Yeah.
Joe Son got him in a headlock, and Keith Hackney's just hammering his dick. I mean, full blast punches over and over. And you see, like, Joe Son's, like, going into shock.
He takes a few of them, and he's like, I'm not letting go of this choke. And then by, like, the fourth, fifth dick punch, it's like, this is all over, man.
It's over. He was a drained man.
Who was it, Chemo? Was he headbutting Hoist Gracie?
Yeah, he headbutted him a bunch.
Yeah, dude, that was fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
There was a lot of headbutting back in the days. It was an effective weapon. And it makes us, like, oh, that's awful. But
small finger locks
but
never
there's all
right.
these other bones. How come you're allowed to hit with these bones, but you can't hit with that bone?
Yeah, also, I would rather be headbutted by a guy that I don't give a shit. There's not much technique in headbutting. I would rather be headbutted than be head kicked by a dude who knows how to head kick.
You think there's no technique, but there really is. There's guys that spar and they fight in Lethwei, and Lethwei is a type of Muay Thai where they put ropes over their knuckles. That's the only thing they have, and they're allowed to headbutt, and it's some wild ass shit. And they do headbutt combinations on the pad, like they'll do tap tap bang. They'll like use their head and train it.
Wow!
And learn how to see if you can find that Lethwei. Weiluth. You know who does commentary for it? Is our friend Robin Black. He does commentary for Lethwei, but this is a brutal form of Muay Thai where you're allowed to headbutt. Because they already elbow, and I think they're thinking, well, if I can knee and if I can punch, I can do all these things. Why can't I headbutt? It's right there. His fucking face is right there. Just
Well, you remember what Mark Coleman used to do? Like he got a few UFCs in before the headbutts were illegal.
Dude, he would smash people with the headbutts. So here, look at this dude. Look at this combination. Watch this. So this is a Robin Black breakdown. When this dude goes off to the side, pushes the dude's head away, and then immediately comes in with a perfect headbutt. Boom. He's just slamming him in the face on purpose with the top of his head. So he's trying to hit like his eyes and his nose and the soft tissue. He's trying to hit that with the hard part of his forehead. Watch this.
I think that will do a lot more damage than a fist.
Dude,
I feel like a headbutt only works 1 out of every 1,000 times.
No, man, no. This guy does it a lot. And if you do it this way, the way he's doing it, you're taking a really hard part of your forehead and you're smashing against a soft part of the eyes and the nose. This part of your forehead is hard as fuck, man. Yeah. Most guys who break their hand in fights break their hands on
top of the head, yeah.
Especially boxing. Are you from military background?
My dad, yeah. My dad was, so that's where my parents met. My dad was stationed in Germany.
Oh.
My mom was fleeing Thailand to her first husband was like physically abusive to her. So she was leaving Thailand and she came to Germany to find her a GI and found my dad.
She came to find a GI specifically?
Well, I think she was coming to get away, but she wanted a better life for her son at the time. And my dad was in the hospital. And so my mom was taking care of him and cooking him food and made him fall in love.
There you go.
And my dad always jokes. He says he tells us a story all the time. He's like, yeah, your mom was taking care of me. And then she told me that you were pregnant. And then 12 months later, you were born.
Oh, that's funny.
So, but no, they fell in love. And
it was just a really long pregnancy. Just weird. Just kind of weird. I don't know why.
Yeah, she's like 12 months. I don't know. But
That's
I was
funny.
very small. But no, yeah. And then then we moved to Colorado and I was born. Then we lived in Germany for a little bit when I was younger. And then back to Colorado. And I grew up in Aurora, Colorado.
Oh, cool. When did you start training?
Probably around 10.
Yeah?
Yeah, around 10. I have an older brother. He's 4 years older than me. He's my half brother. And I really wanted to do gymnastics as a kid. And my parents we just couldn't afford it. It was really expensive. And so my brother found a little karate spot at the church just across the street. And it was a community karate thing. And so it was something that all three of us could do. And so, yeah, we jumped into it and I fell in love with it. It just took over my life and changed my life.
Did you start competing really quickly?
Yeah, I think so. And at first, it's funny because at first, so I would do like the karate tournaments, and so there's point sparring and then there's the katas. And I thought the katas were silly. And I remember going in and doing point sparring and getting knocked on my butt, and I was like, okay, I think I want to do some katas then. I want to bring some trophies home. So yeah, I competed karate from 10 all the way up until I was 18, and so I did a lot of the flashy extreme martial arts katas with the the flips and stuff like that. But I always came back to sparring because I wasn't good at it. Like I was like, it bugged me. It bugged me that I wasn't good at it. And then I found my niche because it's point sparring, so you get two points to the head for kicks to the head. So I would just sit back and let him come in and just kick him in the head, kick him in the head a couple times and win the fight.
So how did you go from that? Did you go from that to kickboxing, or did you go right into MMA? Like when did you start training MMA?
So I did karate, and then I got my black belt in karate.
What kind?
American Freestyle. And then, so I think around 18 or 19, I was kind of just exploring, doing a couple different things. So I did wushu for a couple of years, and I competed in wushu. And then I did a little bit of kempo, and then kind of dabbled a little bit into kickboxing. And so it all kind of just happened pretty strangely. I was in college, I was working at Hooters, and I was doing all these little side jobs, doing photo shoots for this and that. And I was a ring girl for an MMA show. I had never seen MMA. And I remember just walking around the cage and thinking, man, I want to be on the inside. That looks cool. I think I could do it because it was mixed martial arts, And I remember talking to a promoter, and he kind of laughed me off and was just like, whatever, you're a ring girl. And it was a smaller local show. Donald Cerrone was actually fighting on that show, and he overheard me. Yeah. And so he came to my work at Hooters, and I wasn't there, and he was just left me a note. If you're serious about fighting, get your ass in the gym.
Wow. And where was this? Is it in Colorado?
In Colorado. Mm-hmm. And then I went to go train. I went to go train with Donald, and we gym hopped from place to place. I trained with Dwayne. I trained with Trevor. I trained with all the guys. Wow. And and so I took a couple smokers. We'd drive around the region and took a couple smokers, and then it was at that point when I was still in college, and I just was not happy in college. I was kind of wandering around aimlessly. I was really successful in high school, and it just didn't transfer over to college. I got good grades. I was 3.8. I was going to DU, but I wasn't happy. There was something missing, and it was the martial arts. It was a big part of my life. And
you needed a real challenge. You needed something physical too, probably, right?
Yeah.
I would imagine that someone growing up doing martial arts as long as you did, the thrill of using your body and moving around. It's that. It's so important. Once you do that and you compete and it becomes a part of you, the idea of like sitting in a classroom all day and then eventually sitting in a job all day was probably not that compelling.
Yeah, I think so. I think that I just, I was losing myself.
What were you going to school for?
I was going to school, so I was double majoring in theater and sports science. So I was majoring in theater because I got a scholarship for it, and I was doing sports science. I wanted to be like a physical therapist for like a sports team or something like that, or even a martial arts team. But so I decided to take a little bit like a break from that. And my grandma was sick in Thailand, so then I told my mom I'd just go with her for the summer, and we went to visit my grandma in Thailand. And while I was out there, I went to Sit Yatong Muay Thai camp, and I absolutely fell in love with it. They made fun of me because of my karate kicks.
Yeah, it's interesting how different karate kicks are than Thai kicks.
Yeah, and they were looking at me like I was crazy, but I was like, but no, I'm a black belt. It's just like, I know what I'm doing. They're just laughing at me. And we're training on concrete outside, and these little 5-year-old kids are doing 10-minute rounds. And my feet are blistering up from kicking over and over and over on the concrete. But I loved it. I fell in love with it. It kicked my butt, and I fell in love with it. And I came back, and I dropped out of college, and I decided to pursue fighting. Wow.
So where did you learn grappling?
So my first MMA fight was kind of it was supposed to be an amateur fight. And like I said, I was training with Donald, and he was training at a school in Vail. And so I would work on the weekends and then drive up to Vail and train my grappling and all of it, like all of the MMA. And so
you basically trained MMA together. Like you didn't take specific grappling classes, but would imagine that was the thing that you needed to concentrate on the most, right?
Yeah, and I figured, okay, it's my pro debut, or it was supposed to be amateur, but the girl that I was supposed to fight fell through. And the only girl that they had available was already pro. She was like 2-0 pro. And of course, you know how Donald is. He's like, whatever, fuck it, just do it. And so
that's a good Donald accent.
So I was like, all right. I mean, we've been training, so I literally had 4 weeks in my like throughout my karate career. We would have grappling nights when we would do grappling, but it wasn't anything like substantial. So yeah, 4 weeks of grappling training, and I figured, okay, I'll just use my stand-up to win the fight. And she was swinging from way back here and trying to take my head off. So I ended up taking her down. I ended up taking her down like 6 or 7 times.
Wow.
And winning the fight by taking her down and ground and pounding.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Did you say while you were doing it, like, wow, this is so weird that I'm doing this?
It was, I wasn't thinking at all. I was just in the moment, having the time of my life.
Were you thinking that this was what you were going to wind up doing, like professionally? Or were you just thinking, I can't believe I'm doing this?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was like, this is so much fun. It was at the Broomfield Event Center. I don't know if that's still called the Broomfield Event Center in Colorado, but
yeah, I think a bank owns it now or something.
Yeah,
they always change names.
It was so much fun, but never wild. In my life I thought I would be
a top UFC contender.
Never.
And on your way, your goal is to be the first mommy.
Yeah.
To ever win a title.
Yeah.
That's possible.
100%.
You're in the hunt right now. Like, what are you ranked?
I'm ranked 7th, but I don't think the rankings are anything.
They're weird. Yeah, there's like sometimes someone will beat somebody and then that person's still ahead of them in the ranking. I'm like, explain that.
I don't understand the rankings at all. I feel like I've won my last 3 fights and I've gone down in rankings.
What?
Joanna hasn't fought and she's gone down in rankings. And some of the girls haven't fought and they've gone up in rankings. I just think the rankings are crazy.